All right, we're live, but we got to let it breathe just for a moment here while we bring on our Facebookers and our Instagrammers and get everybody under one tent. We're hearing the oral history right now of the Denver Broncos, and so we need everybody under this tent, okay? And it looks like we're good. Welcome in, everybody. It is the Mile High Huddle podcast, and I'm your host, Chad Jensen, and with me is my fellow football priest. You know him, you love him. His name is Zack Kelberman. Zach, Bo Nix has a new right tackle for at least, 4 weeks, right? Had a little something to say about the man we call Alpal. Alex Palczewski, by the way, at right tackle. Dude, you had the story for us today. Break it down.
Yes, sir. I mean, he almost mirrored exactly what Sean Payton said, which is Palcho, Alpal, whatever you want to call him, Palczewski, is, ready for the opportunity. They'll have to make sure things are set protection-wise. It's always risky starting a second-year former undrafted free agent. You lose Mike McGlinchey, but they do like Palcho, Chad, and basically it was sweat off a duck's back. Is that how the expression goes when it comes to Bo Nix? And
water off a duck's back.
Water off a duck's back.
That's a Mark Jensenism, by the way. My dad loves water off a duck's back. It's like
a good one.
It's like water off a duck's back. But yeah, dude, it's going to be really interesting to see how we're having problems with the Facebook on the podcast side, huh? Maybe on Facebook's end. Let me try taking it off and then putting it back on. Hang tight for a second, y'all. Slight delay. Now I'm going to try again. If this doesn't work, we'll just keep it on the main page for this episode. It's fine. We'll see. Looks like it's okay so far. We'll see. But yeah, it's a little bit of a shaky sitch, Zach, because not to say that Mike McGlinchey has been this great lock him down right tackle. In fact, I would say, honestly, Zach, the best right tackle the Broncos have had since maybe Chris Clark was Jared Valdir, and they let him go after 1 year. Like, they didn't even have any interest in keeping the 6'8" giant around, which I'll never quite understand. Now, that was multiple regimes ago, but Mike McGlinchey, he's out. He's got the thing. What do you expect to see from Alpal?
Hopefully no sacks allowed on Garrett Bowles. Hopefully he can help push the line of scrimmage. The run blocking has been terrible, Chad. Pass blocking has been shaky as well. McGlinchey is graded out a little better than Garrett Bowles, but still allowing a lot of pressure. If you saw the game Sunday, you know what I'm talking about. So it's going to be a transition, but we have to take Bo Nix at his word that transition and the impact will be minimal.
How has everybody been? The Papa Bear's in the house. It's always great to see you, big dog. He says, good evening, Broncos country. Chad, Zach, and Deacon Scott. Hashtag God bless the USA. Hashtag Buckham times 3, MHH for life, Broncos for life. SEAL Team Nix, Bo leave. And then his comment, Bo Nix will be outstanding. Yeah, it's only 2 games, man. Could be only 3 games. Could be only 4 games. It's probably not going to get a whole heck of a lot easier this year, guys, to be frank. Like, it's a deceptively tough schedule. And, this week, for example, Zach, you're going to Tampa Bay. It's a better defense than people maybe realized when they first glance at the schedule, back in the spring or whatever, or in the summer. And Baker Mayfield's playing he's playing out of his mind, dude. 400 plus passing yards already and 5 tutties. Meanwhile, Bo Nix has yet to throw a passing score and has 4 interceptions, which is interesting because it kind of brings up Sean Payton. I kind of titled it around this, Zach, but I couldn't help but detect in my article today a little bit of what I would call quarterback envy in Baker Mayfield by what Sean Payton had to say. And the subject was broached through the kind of prism, the trope that Baker Mayfield is a failed former number 1 or first round pick who has then found a second wind, right? Has gone on to find success outside of his original team. And this is what he said, quote, it's happened maybe 3 or 4 times with first rounders and 3 or 4 times with second rounders. I remember doing that study prior to signing Zach Wilson, who was himself a number 2 overall pick. He goes on to say that Baker is tough. He's competitive. He loves playing football. I've gotten to know him in the offseason on one trip just at a place that we ended up being at the same place. He's a good person. He's very competitive, and he's playing very well, Zach. Close quote.
I mean, I said it on the gut reaction. I don't really care what Sean Payton has to say until he can prove and show me something. But I'm envious, not necessarily of Baker Mayfield. I know he's been your boy for quite a while, Chad, but I'm envious of the coaching that Baker Mayfield has in Tampa Bay. He lost his OC, Dave Canales. He's the Panthers coach now, and Baker's picking up right where he left off in 2024. They have a potent offense. They're well coached on defense, if a little banged up right now. It's going to be a fight for the Broncos to avoid 0-3.
Taylor Christensen, what's up, big dog? Thank you for the super chat. Says, hey guys, with no playmakers out there, I think we traded or released our only ones. I think so. Also, if we lose Sunday, is there changing happening? No. Here's the thing, guys. Teams in the NFL, it's so uncouth. I mean, it's generally a disgusting thing in pro sports. The idea, Zach, of a tank or a rebuild. These things they don't like, and especially in the NFL, even when it's clearly and evidently and obviously a rebuild, teams do not like to use the word. They don't like to telegraph it because they're worried it will hurt business. Frankly, they're worried that it will impact ticket sales, it'll impact fan enthusiasm, and thus hit the bottom line. So they, even when it's obvious for everybody to see, they kind of ignore it and pretend like it's not happening from a PR perspective, Zach. But internally, guys, the Walton Penners gave Sean Payton the clear, dude. It's all clear for Sean Payton. Yeah, go ahead and fire us, cut him. We're going to eat $250 million, not quite, but you know what I'm saying. We're going to eat that almost entirety of that contract. Oh, and by the way, here, go use our valuable first-round pick, of which we've not had one for a long-ass time, on a quarterback of your choosing. And if it doesn't work within 2 weeks of the next season, you're fired. Does that sound like something that plausibly happened, Zach?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Teams go out of their way now to not say the word rebuild. Remember when VJ was hired, he used reboot or reload, whatever it was. He wouldn't say rebuild, but the Broncos have showed you that it's going to be a soft rebuild at the very minimum in 2024. But to answer the question directly, I appreciate that, Taylor, $99 super. Also, keep up the good work, guys. You're awesome. Thank you, Taylor. In terms of changing happening, if they lose Sunday and go to 0-3, I mean, they got blown out 70-20 last year in week 3 and nothing happened. I hearken back, Chad, on what Sean Payton said when he was hired, which is when it comes to coordinators and making changes, I'm slow to hire, quick to fire. We'll see if that comes to fruition, though, later in the season if they continue to sputter.
Honestly, guys, the hope is this, okay? Ronk, what's up, brother? Love you, big dog. He says, good evening, Chad and Zach on the Mile High Huddle podcast. Go Bo Broncos. I love it. Here's my hope within the prism, Zach, of educated experience, plausible expectations. And that is that the Broncos are going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel because you have a young team with a young rookie quarterback who are having to kind of find their way. They have veteran coaching and around them to kind of help them in most cases, but the coaching hasn't been that great so far either. There's been a lot of things where you're going, really, coach? Like, you're Sean Payton. That's the best you could do. But they're going to be going through this together. There's a lot of things we don't know. You know, it's easy to look at a play, for example, on film, like for even that touchdown, or pardon me, the interception, Zach, that Bo Nix threw last week. It's easy to just jump down the kid's throat. And he does own ultimate responsibility because he's the trigger man. But you know, if a receiver ran a wrong route on that and he was expecting a receiver to be underneath Cortland Sutton by the name of Josh Reynolds, you know, it's like little things like that we don't want to hear. But I'm rambling a little bit. So here's what I'm going to get to. The hope for me is this, Zach, and within the realm of expectation and plausibility, is that they're going to grow as a team. And this is probably going to be a sub 500 season, guys. Probably. That's what the odds are telling us, okay? If you start 0-2, that's what the odds say. But my hope, Zach, is that as they just kind of like last year's team, once they kind of bump their head enough and they kind of figure out who they are and they come together, is there enough talent to go out there and at least make it fun, at least give us a chance in November and early December? And if not, again, Zach, when we would get this question back in March, it's like, hey, this is a developmental year for Bo Nix. So let it be a developmental year for Bo Nix without freaking out and running for the cliff every time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, again, they signaled to us that it was going to be a rebuild, and it feels a little futile, Chad, talking about it after 2 weeks because historically, Sean Payton's teams always started off slow. We saw it last year. They were what 1-5. They went on that big winning streak and made
One
something
and
of the
four.
season.
No, 1-5. You're right. 1-5. 1-5.
So, I mean, let's see what happens over the course of the year. But as we've said, the bare minimum was the development of Bo Nix, and it's way too soon. You can say what you want about Sean Payton, or you can have your feelings now, but to draw any conclusions about a rookie quarterback after 2 games, way too soon.
Eric Flynn, much love, bro. I really appreciate you guys. We got a lot more to get into tonight. We got to take a little segue here, though. First things first, though, to help you change your life, because with big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and that first month's bill, the price that you thought you're going to be paying, kaboom, sticker shock, it magically skyrockets and you're locked in. You can't get out of it. But with Mint Mobile, you will never have to worry about those gotchas ever again, because when Mint Mobile says it's $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it. So say bye-bye to your overpriced wireless plans. That's a little bit of a word salad there, Zach. Say bye-bye to the jaw-dropping, sticker shock, can't believe it thing you see on your first month's bill and the unexpected overages, and check out Mint Mobile.
Yeah, guys, to get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/huddle. That's mintmobile.com/huddle. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/huddle. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
All right, guys, let's see what's Victor's thinking about here. What's up, bro? He says, do you guys think, pardon me, we can actually get some run game going this week? I just can't see Bo progressing if we can't help him out. Thank you, priests. I'm not sure we've got the horses for it. I'll be honest with you, because the guy who's supposed to be your number one running back averaged 1.5 yards per carry last week at home and is missing the cutback lanes, like continuously runs into his blocker's back. And even Sean Payton's going, yo, dude, he's leaving yards out on the field. Like, if he's saying it publicly, internally, they're freaking livid, dude. And so I can't be confident in that. And then you lose McGlinchey, which, for all his foibles, Zach, as a pass protector, his run blocking has traditionally been his strength ever since he was a prospect coming out of Notre Dame. So I'm not confident that this is the week that they figure it out. I'm just not. I got to be honest with you. Like, Javonte looks to me like he's spent, dude. Like, I don't think he's going to ever return to the pre-injury form now. Like, that's not a bold prediction. I'm not laying it out, Zach, as an absolute thing, but I think he's kind of cooked. So then it becomes to me about, well, Jalil, how soon do you get Audric Estime? Let's get Blake Watson involved. And all those options right now are less than ideal.
I'll tell you who I want involved. It's none of the above. It's Tyler Beatty, who I didn't know much of, Chad, but he had 1 carry on the season, went for 16 yards. There's a handful of runs this season that have gone beyond 10 yards. Bo Nix has 2 of them, but Javonte for the season averaging 2.1 yards a carry. Jalil 2.5. Estime only has 2 carries on the season. So you need to change it up. And it might work, it might not. I think it starts up front. You're right there. But if there's a week to get it going, they might get lucky. Let me tell you why really quickly. Vita Vea has an injury for Tampa Bay. Their big, massive nose tackle. He might not play. He might be hampered. So that's a win for the Broncos. They have another member of the front seven, Yancey, I believe his name is. He's a starter. That's a big blow, or a big boon for Denver if he doesn't play as well. They do have Levante David in that front seven, Chad, but maybe they can get something going up front with those big beasts not there.
For what it's worth, yeah, Vea has not practiced either day this week. Kalijah Cansey,
there you go. Yeah.
Defensive line, calf, also has not practiced. Those are 2 starters. Then your stud safety, Antoine Winfield, who I know this is defensive, this is the secondary, but he also hasn't practiced with a foot injury. So yeah, there is that silver lining. But the Broncos have been so inept, Zach. offensively, I'm not even sure it would matter if they were playing, you know, Utah State or something. Seriously, like what is going on there? I don't know. Phil, brother, love you. He says, good evening, Chad, Zach, and Deacon Scott. Gonna take time for Knicks. Just got to be patient. Yes. But he needs, honestly, dude, yes. And that's still my overarching counsel to everybody. But Sean Payton has got to do a better job of helping him. He's got to, dude. Like, Sean Payton's got to pull his head out, as my old man would say. As long as Phil says we see some progress, I'm okay. Payton needs to improve the play calling. Yes, indeed. As always, Zach, I should have waited till the end and just read the whole thing. Hashtag Buckham MHH for life, Broncos for life. Love you, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, again, I said it's Sunday. I'll say it again today, or Monday, excuse me. I'm much less concerned about Bo Nix as I am Sean Payton. Bo Nix has 2 sample size games in the NFL. We've seen a year of Sean Payton with Russell Wilson. He's had 16 other seasons in the NFL as a head coach. He's been around the game forever, and he doesn't seem to understand how a modern offense is supposed to look. My patience is very low.
The Duchess, Michaela Parker, jumping in with a very generous super chat off the
Thank you,
top
Michaela.
rope. A bona fide Mount Rushmore super chat superstar and a friend near and dear to our hearts. Guys, by the way, so I've had a weird week. I haven't posted all that much from the meet and greet, but there's going to be some stuff coming, if not today, tomorrow. Because a year ago, one of my best buddies, his son called me, goes, "Hey, for my dad's birthday," and they live near Arizona. He goes, "Hey, Green Day is coming through in September. If I get tickets, would you want to come down and go?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll come down and go, of course." And so that's where I went, Zach. So I went from doing the meet and greet, all the hustle and bustle of doing that. And then yesterday hopped on a plane, flew to Phoenix, and enjoyed the only rock concert I've ever been to where there's like pyrotechnics and whatnot. It was pretty dope. Smashing Pumpkins played. It was cool. Rancid. But anyway, then I travel back today, and this is a long-winded way of saying I haven't because of all the stuff. And then even like coming out of the meet and greet, I have so much work stuff to catch up on. Not enough time to get the pictures together and everything from the meet and greet. So there will be some cool stuff coming out. Check it out, guys. It's really cool. But especially make sure you're following on Instagram for that stuff. But she says, Zach, what is all this talk about Bo's footwork? I think it's over exaggerated, in my opinion. I don't think it's the problem. I just think it's part of the problem. And that is he has, unfortunately, Zach, shown a propensity for throwing off the back foot. And that is just, it doesn't bode well unless your name is Patrick Mahomes. Like there's a few all-time just whack job, insanely talented, once in a generation dudes who can get away with it. Elway was one of those guys. Elway could get away with that kind of thing. He had the arm for it, but how often did you actually see him do it unless he absolutely had to? It's one thing, Zach, to throw off your back foot when you don't have a choice. Bo Nix is doing it when he has a choice, and a big part of that Sean Payton talked about is having the confidence to stay within the pocket and work within the framework of the pocket. Hard to do when the interior is collapsing in on you, though, Zach, in the first half.
Yeah, I was going to say, why does he have that propensity? Why does he have happy feet at times? He didn't have that red flag coming out of college. It's tough when you have a defender in your lap within a second to a second and a half. His footwork, admittedly, was sloppy in week 1 against Seattle. He cleaned it up a little bit in week 2, but still, when Highsmith or Hayward or TJ Watt are just breathing down your neck, that's what a rookie quarterback is going to do. So maybe as the season goes on, he gets more comfortable. You'll see him step up into the pocket and put his all into his passes.
Now, Duchess, maybe there's someone or a publication out there making a lot more about it than I'm aware of. I'm not sure, but it's a problem. It's not the problem, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's probably exaggerated a little bit. Howie, what's up, bro? Great to see you, big dog. Howie freaking day in the freaking house, bro. Thank you, pal. Okay. Where are we at? We're at 19 minutes. We got a little bit of time before we do the head-to-head. And, Zach, we're now getting a little bit, maybe just far enough into the season where the numbers in the head-to-head actually start kind of being they start accurately representing what's going on, for lack of a better term. It's still young, the season's still early, but now you've got a multi-game sample size. So it's going to be fun to see how the Broncos measure up with the Bucs here in just a moment.
The schedule makers did the Broncos no favors, Chad. Seattle, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay on the road in September in that heat, East Coast 1 o'clock game. Then you turn around and face the Jets defense, Aaron Rodgers. Then you have the Chargers and the Raiders after that. Then the Saints. Tough start to the season for the Broncos. Tough scene.
Hey, obviously the video thing, there's been a few lags. Is it lagging in the audio too?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. All my little remedies, I don't know what's going on, why it's doing it. Nothing has changed on my end. I reset my router last time, like you guys care, but I did reset my router, and I don't know what's going on. I think it might be. I'll have to look into it. Might be a camera setting or something. Look a little deeper. Rodney, what you're referring to, bro? No, I did not post an article advocating to bench Bo Nix. If you listen to my podcast, how could you ever actually think that? But I do write certain things where I'll cover if someone else, a credible outlet like Forbes is saying the Broncos should bench Bo Nix, then I'm just passing that on to you guys. So that wasn't me, Rodney, advocating to bench Bo Nix. That was me talking about it. So no, and it's way too early for that talk, Zach.
Yeah, much too early. Yeah, I could attest for Chad. He doesn't think the Broncos should. And it's crazy for anyone to really have that belief after 2 games when Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, rookie quarterbacks struggle in the NFL, especially this season, Chad, when offense seems to be down across the board entering week 3.
Okay, guys, we're going to get to the head-to-head here. But first, we got to talk about the best time of year. Things aren't going so great for the Broncos at the moment, but football is back. We've got NFL Sundays. We got college football Saturdays. We got the glorious grind of fantasy football lineups. And this is where your inner GMs come alive, setting the perfect fantasy roster, screaming at your TV, and making last-minute waiver moves that either make you a hero or the guy everyone ridicules in the group chat.
But listen, while you're with us, getting the lowdown on the Denver Broncos and perfecting your fantasy lineups, don't let your personal grooming become the guy that gets left on the bench. Let's be honest, nobody wants to fumble their grooming routine. That's where Manscaped's Performance Package 5.0 Ultra comes in, acting as your all-in-one grooming playbook, from keeping things sharp down below with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra to taking care of those rogue nose and ear hairs with the Weed Whacker 2.0. This is the lineup that'll keep you looking and feeling like a champ on and off the field.
So, guys, join the over 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped and get ready for kickoff by heading over to manscaped.com. Use code HUDDLE for 20% off plus free shipping. Trust us, you'll be drafting the real MVP of grooming this season.
That's right. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code HUDDLE at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code HUDDLE at manscaped.com. Stay on top of your grooming game and be ready for anything this season throws your way.
Hey, Instagram, appreciate you guys being with us on the stream tonight. We're about to end it on Instagram. So if you want to keep us going, hold on. Photo appeal. You need to unplug your router. Just rebooting it does little. Leave it unplugged for 2 minutes. That's exactly what I did. Oh, 2 minutes though. I didn't do it for 2 minutes. I did it for 30 seconds. Okay, I'll try that, big dog. I'll try that. But we are going to end our this part of the stream on Instagram. If you want to stay with us, either join us on YouTube or Facebook. Love you guys. All right, Zach. Shall we do the head-to-head? I'm ending the Instagram stream because I don't know if that's buffering or something is having to do the RAM, whatever. It's having something to do with my video lag, but it's time for the head-to-head. So let me blow this up and get it ready to rock here, and we'll start seeing what's what. Booyah! There we go. Okay, share screen. Bada bing, bada bang. I guess window, no, Chrome tab. Yeah, that's the one. Booyah. Okay, guys, let's have a look here. Now, as you know, when we go through these head-to-heads, nope, I did it again. Dang it. How do I? Hold on. I screwed something up. There we go. A green signifies top 10 statistical ranking, red, bottom 10. And if it's black, well, that's in the middle. This is an inverted example of two opponents. On one hand, Zach, you got the traveling Broncos at 0-2, the home team Bucs at 2-0. In the turnover margin, this is not right. How could this be correct? Look at this, Zach. 2 in turnover margin. The Broncos have 4 interceptions alone given up. I can think of one takeaway.
Is it turnover differential?
Yeah, but that's the point, is it should be they're -3 at least, if not -4. So they're slipping on these sheets, man. So I'm going to skip this part. It's not accurate. Offense. Here we go. Baker Mayfield, Zach, been having himself a nice start to the season. The Bucs over here on the right. Yet net yards per game, they're ranked 19th, yards per play, 13th. But here we go. They're scoring, dude. When the chips are down, the ball's getting punched in. Points per game, they're averaging almost 30, dude. 28.5 through 2 games. 4th best in the NFL. But they're not running the ball all that well. 91 rush yards, 24th in the NFL. Passing, middle of the pack, just outside the top 10, but still technically middle of the pack. Mayfield's only been picked off once. 0 fumbles have been lost, so that's just 1 giveaway. They have allowed 6 sacks, though, Zach, which isn't great. Here's where they're just killing it, dude. This is where the points start to add up in a big, bad way. Oh, you want to be part of this? You can't be in here, dude. Say hi.
Hi.
This is my day today. Okay, now you got to go away and go close the door. Go close the door. No. Nope, I haven't, pal. No. Zach, take over for a sec.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I was going to say, when we saw a lot of red above the fold before you scroll down, Chad, and then you kept scrolling and I saw more red. So typical Broncos offense in a typical season. Hopefully it improves with more sample size. I could speak to the Bucs, though. I mean, Chad talked about the running game not really clicking, which is surprising to me. They have Rashad White, Bucky Irving, who looks very promising as well. I think that ranking will go up. I mean, as you could see, though, Chad Baker, they got Rashad, they got Mike Evans, they got Chris Godwin, they got McMillan, their slot receiver, Kate Otten, their tight end. It's a very talented offense, and Baker's just humming right now.
Yeah. But see, this is why, look how bad this is in comparison. And apologies, guys. I mean, if you were at the meet and greet, that wasn't the first time you've met Theo Jensen, but I don't know how he ended up slipping loose. That might be the first time ever in all the years I've been streaming, Zach, that one of my kids somehow broke into the office and interrupted. So apologies, guys, but
it's all good.
What are you going to do with the 3-year-old? Sometimes, they definitely have a mind of their own. We know this.
Better than talking about the Broncos offense, Chad.
Yeah, exactly. That's so bad. That third down percentage for the Denver Broncos is just ridiculously bad. It's like, sorry, dude. It's pitiful. It's repugnant. It's disgusting. And look at the red zone. It's even worse. You want to know how come the Broncos have yet to score through the air? They have 1 offensive touchdown through 8 quarters of play. And it was a rushing score courtesy of Bo Nix. That's why, dude. They're 14% in the red zone. It's atrocious. Meanwhile, this is where Mayfield and the Bucs are thriving, dude. When it's third down, the ball is getting moved. Those chains are getting moved, baby. They're 5th best third down offense so far. And the red zone, still top 10, dude. Almost 6 out of 10 red zone possessions end in a touchdown, Zach.
Yeah, they're just playing at a different level right now. And if you watch any of their film, I mean, they can wear you down with the running game, but they have a quick passing game too. They have a downfield attack. And on third down specifically, Baker loves Chris Godwin. So it's going to be a tough matchup for, I'm assuming, Riley Moss on Sunday.
All right, let's have a look at these two defenses where things start to take on a little bit more optimistic hue for the Broncos. All right. Defense, Broncos, yards per game are 9th. Yards per play, they're 9th. Points per game, they're tied for 10th, allowing 19.5 through 2 games. Rushing, though, they're still not so hot. They're bottom 10 off rushing defense, pardon. Passing, though, they're 4th. All right. Now, keep in mind, you went against kind of an out of sorts Geno Smith, who I still think is like an overrated quarterback to a great extent, but he's probably a lot better than what he showed you week 1 against the Broncos, even though the Seahawks got that win. And then Justin Fields. So, like, I'm not running to celebrate, Zach, the successes of the Broncos off-season moves to say, buy Josie Jewell, buy Justin Simmons, the experiment of Riley Moss, and just kind of all these personnel changes. This is encouraging. It shows that they could be on the right path, but I'm not ready. In the same way, Zach, I'm not ready to completely indict Bo Nix and pull the plug. I'm not ready quite yet to say, oh, yeah, this is a top 4 passing defense. We need more sample size. But this is killing us. Where you had the takeaways last year on that winning streak, Zach, the Broncos only have 2 so far. And in these tight games, man, it's just the margins are so slim. That's where a takeaway can really just absolutely change the game. Broncos haven't really been able to get it done except for that gimme first play of the season that wasn't a special teams play. Oh, here you go, Alex Singleton, sorry, right into your breadbasket, etc. But meanwhile, and look, though, also Broncos doing well in the red zone defensively and middle of the pack on third down. The Bucs, though, Zach, this is the 28th ranked defense in yards per game. Points per game, they're 6th. They're only averaging 18. They're allowing only 18 points. Rushing, you can move the ball. And with Bea and the other dude we talked about earlier, Zach, this might be the best opportunity you're going to have in the first quarter of the season to actually be productive in the run game, even though that needs to be an every week occurrence. Passing, defense, Zach, also, this is encouraging somewhat for Bo Nix, 29th ranked. They only have 2 interceptions. Only. I guess that's 1 a game. That's pretty good. 0 fumble recoveries, so 2 total takeaways, and then 2 sacks. By the way, Broncos have 4 sacks. I don't think I mentioned that. Third down, middle of the pack. Zach, red zone, middle of the pack.
Yeah, I mean, the Buccaneers, I think, can be explained by the injuries that we talked about. The Broncos, meanwhile, I don't think they've been the biggest problem this season so far, but there's been shades of the old Broncos defense, the old VJ coming out, the lack of getting off the field on third downs, the lack of killer instinct, chat, the lack of pass rush at times, and also, as you see right there, 23rd against the run. I mean, you finished, I think, 30th last season. You vowed to get better. You brought in big bodies. Franklin Myers, Zach Allen is playing tremendous this season. So why are you still 23rd? Why are you still that bad? That to me would point to the scheme, Chad. But what do I know?
Well, it doesn't help that Franklin got hurt in this. He's been banged up.
Well, you still have Malcolm Roach.
But yeah, I mean, I'm just taking a quick look at I'm going the wrong way. Where's my tackles? There we go. Tackles, sacks. Cooper leading the way with 2 for the Broncos. Allen and Ellis, the rookie, sharing 1, or not sharing, but each at 1. And then Singleton, he's averaging 10 tackles a game. But look at Moss, dude. Your starting cornerback, number 2 corner, is second on the team in tackles. I love that, dude. I love that. But the big boys up front, they got to do a little bit better. Zach. So, all right, let me move it back over here to the actual head-to-head. All right. And I guess, take a quick look at special teams. So, surprise, surprise, Riley Dixon, Zach, is starting to show some progress as a punter.
Yeah, he's the MVP. It's crazy.
So far, dude, he's 10th in gross punting, 5th in net punting. Our punt returns have not done so hot so far. Like Marvin Mims is yet to really pop one. He's 17th right now in the NFL. Kickoff return has been bad, dude. Mm-hmm. When they have been able to field one, it's been bad. Field goal percentage, though, both teams are 100% when they've attempted field goals. And then penalties, the Broncos have 17 committed, which ties them for 27th most in the NFL. Or pardon me, 5th. See, 1, 2, 3, 6th most, 5th most, whatever. 5th most is what it is. So inverted. And then their opponents tied for this. They have 16. So it's kind of sloppy football triggering sloppy football, I guess, Zach.
Well, it didn't help the refs threw like 80 flags
Yeah,
in
that's dude,
Sunday's game.
that Steelers game, the refereeing was horrendous.
It was ridiculous, and it slowed the game down to a crawl. It was already boring enough with those two offenses on the field. So hopefully that levels off because, as we know, penalties is usually a sign of discipline, Chad, and that points to the coaching.
There was especially just a lot of bad calls in the Broncos secondary. You
Yeah.
know, that call on PJ Locke late in the game, which basically was one of the final daggers for the Steelers. That deep ball where on the play where Riley Moss got hurt and temporarily left the field, that was a BS call. I mean, my brain has already tried to block out a lot of that game, Zach, but what I'm trying to peel out, bring it back into the light from the recesses and darkest corners of my mind, I do remember it being horrendous refereeing.
Yeah, I mean, par for the course. Until the Broncos start winning, they're not going to get the flags, their calls in the favor from the officials. It is what it is.
Okay, Lawrence Rivera, what's up, big dog? Thank you, buddy. He says, "What up, guys? Did you see the Broncos' new merch line saying be a good person? I think Nick needs to be paid for starting the way, Zach."
I've not seen that,
I
but
haven't either. I don't even know what he's talking about, dude. Like, even his
Lawrence wants to get the
reference.
T going tonight, though. It's been a while, but why are the Saints 2-0 and the Broncos 0-2? Well, I can answer that question with two words. That would be Derek Carr and what he's doing. It seems like every time he drops back to pass, Chad, it's a long touchdown bomb. Week 1, I thought, was a fluke. Week 2, you beat the brakes off the Cowboys. Okay, you have my attention. And who is coordinating him out there in New Orleans? Clint Kubiak.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, Derek Carr is a much better quarterback than he's ever been given credit for.
Agreed.
Um, he is one of those quarterbacks, though, that kind of needs, like, he kind of lacks the clutch gene a little bit. So, like, you know, as the Saints have been able to do so far, if you can get out to some early leads, he's your quarterback, baby. He'll do a good job. Fangio used to compliment the snot out of him. When Fangio was the head coach here, Carr was in Vegas, Zach. Man, Fangio would stand at the podium at Raider Week and just gush about this dude, how quickly he gets rid of the ball and his stubbornness in not allowing the pass rush to get to him and just like marveling. And nobody else got the memo. I mean, even Josh McDaniels, he's like, adios later. And now the Saints, Zach, are reaping the benefits.
Like as Scott points out correctly, it also doesn't hurt when you have Alvin Kamara scoring 4 touchdowns a game. They have a couple good receiving threats in Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed, the deep threat. I mean, he's averaging like 30 yards a catch. It's just they're clicking right now, and it's pretty fun to watch.
Indeed. Appreciate you, Lawrence. Good to see you, big dog. Okay, Zach, was there any other topics? I mean, it kind of seems like a little bit of a subdued night. I understand Broncos fans are it's like it's like apathy on top of apathy. And as a live stream and we're here to help, we're here to entertain, we're here to alleviate some of the pain, take your mind off things. But at the same time, sometimes, Zach, it's like we get just as kind of frustrated and bored with what's happening as everybody else. And we're trying not to let it necessarily show. But that's kind of where it's at, dude. Like, we just need to see it, Sean. Hey, Coach Payton. Hey, Bo Nix. Hey, Vance Joseph. We're tired of hearing about it. We just need to see it, dude. You guys need to go out there and prove it and show the fans, show the media, show your opponents. Because it's just, man, Zach, if you would have orchestrated a Sean Payton-led rebuild circa 18-19, man, Broncos fans would have actually been here for that. But now you're trying to do that year 9 after missing the playoffs. And you're out to an 0-2 start. And it's not just that you start 0-2, Zach. You start 0-2 and you suck. Like, you're just like suck offensively. It's like, oh, dude. Oh, what are we doing? Where are we at? So we understand how you guys are feeling, guys. They just need to get out there and show it for everybody and hopefully kind of change everyone's tune a little bit and put some pep to our step.
Yes, sir. We thought we lived in a world of suck. Now it's a galaxy of suck. But we have Michael Ronquillo, who is amazing. Thank you so much. Says great show tonight, Chad and Zach, on the MHH podcast. Go Bo Broncos. Appreciate you, Ronk, as always, my brother.
Indeed. And just when I think I have it solved on the lag, comes right back. So I'm going to try that dude from Instagram. I already forgot his handle, but I'm going to try that 2 minutes with the router unplugged and see if it makes a difference. Cause I'm like hardlined into my router, and Scott's like my troubleshooter extraordinaire, Mr. Producer. And we already went through this like 2 years ago on my new setup. New meaning it's like 2 years old. Same camera, same desktop, same everything, same lighting. Nothing has changed. And then all of a sudden it's doing this. So I'm going, oh, it must be the internet. I did unplug the router. I counted 30, but this guy's saying Zach got to count to 2 minutes. So I'm gonna give that a shot and see if it makes a difference. So sorry guys, had a little bit of an interruption from Theo, my 3-year-old. Apologies for that. And you could probably tell I'm a little bit tired. I've had a little bit of a long week, a great week, a long week. I could use like 2 days though, Zach, of just not doing anything. And that's probably not going to come.
Well, I'll take it from here for tonight. That was another tremendous episode of the Mile High Huddle podcast. If you're not doing so, please follow us on Twitter at the MHH pod. You can follow the main account on Twitter at Mile High Huddle. Chad at Chad and Jensen, myself at Kelberman NFL, and Scott, our producer, at Scout Kennedy. If you guys want some merch like we're rocking each and every single podcast, check out mhhmerch.com and get you some. If you haven't done so yet, drop us a like at facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod. You can find us on Instagram at mile_high_huddle. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure you're leaving your football priest a 5-star review for a chance to win some merch each and every single month. But if anything, y'all, please subscribe, like, and share this video and every video you see on the MHH channel. It really helps us grow and reach more Broncos fans just like you.
Hey, much love and respect to the great Super Chat superstars and supporters helping us keep the lights on tonight. A slow kind of, melancholy night a little bit. Fans are just like, man, give us something to cheer for, guys. But the Duchess, Michaela Parker, we love you. Lawrence Rivera, Howie frickin' Day, Tucson Phil. We got Victor's Gaming, Eric Flynn. We got the Ronk, Taylor Christensen, the Papa Bear, David McElrath. Love you guys. Can't wait to see you for the gut reaction on Sunday. Let's hope Sean Payton has figured something out, pulled his head out again, once again, to quote my old man. We'll see. But love you guys. Have a great weekend, and I can't wait to see how it all shakes out on Sunday.
Yes, so we'll see you Sunday. Take care, and as always, guys, go Broncos.